session will just need you to present a very quick 5 minutes to 10 minute explanation of your project, how you identified the research, what you thought of as a hypothesis before probably you started doing your research, how did you go about the research, what were the challenges, what were the, so like basically an explanation of how you did your project. Then the next, it will be moderated by Al-Qasim. Hopefully he'll be available while, when that session starts. Then after that, we'll have a teamwork session like we did yesterday. And in this session, we are going to try and see what does the law say about religion and rights. Yeah, what are the rights of citizens related to religion? So that will be facilitated by Al-Qasim or Lujain. I know you've interacted with Lujain. Maybe you can wave your hands. I know many people are asking for you here. She's now here with us. Lujain will be facilitating that together with Anita, one of our analysts at the iLab. Then we'll go for a lunch break. And then after that, we'll now have the second project showcase, where we'll have Mariam, Daoud, Temitope Bade Mosi, and then finally we'll have Abdul Rahman Akanbi. I'm hoping I didn't mess up your name. Apologies. Yeah, it will be moderated by Aliza, Aliza from ICFJ, and then after that we're going to have a quick tool demo. I know yesterday many people talked about how do we use Civic Signal. Today we are going to look at meltwater first, because we want to show you now how can you relate or collect data related to religion and rights on meltwater. Yesterday we only did extremism, right? It will just be a refresher session, so it will be a very short 15 to 30 minute session. And then finally we are going to end with a keynote from one of our speakers. He's called Franklin Bayen. He's a veteran journalist and also a media researcher and a fellow at the Alfred Friendly Press Partners in the USA. So he'll be here with us in person. So that's how the program looks like. Hopefully we really look forward to listening to you all. So I'm hoping that you kind of have prepared some key points on your side. Yeah. All right. So I don't know whether the Zoom is now on. Okay. Let's give him a few minutes. I see Davis has now joined. Maybe we can mute on our side, and then you can, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can start. Usually when you are done, collect the questions and I'll read them to you, then you answer them.
Okay, so it's my time and I'm going to have a lot of information. Like, I have
The link that was sent to me via email, the email that was sent didn't come to my inbox, came to my spam box. That's why I was not here yesterday.
Okay.
That she called me, I was not aware that it was sent an invite. But now I'm trying to join the WhatsApp group and then it's telling me to download WhatsApp when I have WhatsApp. So I can't even join them.
Technology is not my greatest strength. Hi, good morning. I believe that I am being heard from all over the world, especially in Nigeria. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, that's better. Thank you, and thank you for having me this morning. It is a great pleasure for me to be speaking to you all. I am sorry that I am a bit late. I'm on different time zones, so yes, do forgive me. But thank you for making the time to attend this meeting. I am going to talk a little bit about myself and some of the things that I have encountered in this journey of the work that I do, but also of the lived experience that also relate with mostly the media and talking in different public spaces and the impact that someone that give information through blogging, through speech making, through websites, through news, what this will do. So as I may have been introduced, I work with the with an organization called the Interfaith Diversity Network of West Africa. And in that network, what we do is that we create a safe space for all persons, irrespective of their tribe, ethnicity, or gender, or sexual orientation, to be able to have that opportunity that they themselves are human being, and that who they are does not in any way in conflict with their faith or with their identity. And so why do we decide to create a space for this special category in a world where there is so much misrepresentation? So first, myself, being an Anglo-Catholic, born in Nigeria, raised in Nigeria, it is important for me to state that the biggest one happened in 2003 when the hello.
Yes, we can still hear you.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I keep getting interference. So when the Anglican Church in Nigeria, their counterpart in America, decided to ordain an openly gay bishop, what happened is that made our Nigerian church to be so forceful in a way that they deny. They said that there are no homosexuals in Nigeria. You can't have them. Nigeria, it's a pure godly country. As if the other countries, God is not there, and that God is not navigating anything in those countries. So that's where I got moved, and I said, no, this is not right. I know I am a church, and so I do not accept this type of way of describing people. So that was my propelling public engagement with the media, and telling the media my story, even though the media have twisted that story and changed that story round. But I was so angry that I had to begin to make speeches. I wanted to share those slides with you in the publication of the Daily Sun, of the Guardian, of Vanguard, of what is it called again? This Day, and all of those Nigerian medias begin to publish the story. Even though some of them are biased, the fact is that my name is a local Nigerian name, my identity is a Nigerian identity, so it is proving that no, we have LGBTIQ people in Nigeria, and that they are not as foreign as the church or the government was trying to make us to believe. And again, my story was able to make people believe and understand that the LGBTIQ people are part and parcel of Nigeria, and that they are integrated in the grassroots. So even in the very media that try to misrepresent us and twist our story so that it will get a reaction that the Nigerian population want to hear, we still find one or two persons. When the church came after me to use their communication officer to try and discredit me, I was able to pass my story and the evidence of my truth through some local Nigerian journalists. So as much as the majority of the media are highly anti-LGBTIQ or highly homophobic or highly misrepresenting, there are still a tiny few that would be professional and will not be biased and will write. Many people in my time in Nigeria were writing about LGBTIQ from a theological perspective that they have no understanding about, especially journalists. Many of them are so lazy to do their research that they pull out informations from different spaces and put it together, and then it makes for them that they have make a story, because they know that once you say Sodom and Gomorrah and all of that, that the population will listen to you. So I think that one of the best things that Nigerian media could do, journalists and writers and bloggers could do, is to learn to begin to do your own research. Do your research without biasness and get to the people you talk about and the people you write about. Do not be afraid to go in those spaces, to listen to them and to understand them, and then you will be able to interpret what you have heard to your readers or to your listeners, whichever spaces that you operate in as a media person. Anyway, being authentic is that your story and your voice can never be silenced, no matter how skilled the person trying to use social media or the mainstream media to silence you, because my birth, my identity, my ethnicity, my faith, my belief, everything about me, it's original and authentic, which made me to defeat the Nigerian Anglican Church and their media wagons, in my language, not being able to succeed to put me down. So I encourage everyone listening to me to please try and get your fact right if you are doing advocacy. If you are making a speech or comment or a presentation, or you are answering a question, do your research and get your fact right. But do not go into conversations from a position of a biased perspective. Do not form an opinion about what you are trying to research. You already give yourself the answer before you even start your research, means that you will be doing a very bad job, which will be damaging to not an individual, but to a whole community or to a whole department that you are trying to give. A lot of people have misused their privilege opportunity when they do their work. whether be it in the media, be it in advocacy, be it in many departments. So please let us try and be authentic, be professional, and do our research to make sure that the information we are given, the story we are telling, is a story that is real and true, so that the listener can then decide and find their own truth out of it. That is the way that I was able to still stand on my feet, having been attacked by all the major religious institutions in Nigeria. What they were trying to do is to silence, not common in Nigeria. A voice that they deny. When leaders deny that we don't have certain community, and then that community became in existence, they will do everything to silence. Hello, people.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good. Yes, I like to always check out to see that we are still on with technology. So whatever you are doing, be aware that the forces that exist will not sit quietly for you to be successful in your story of authenticity. That authentic story that you bring will tremble on the toes of many people, and that will include religious leaders, your family, your employers, your community, and the society, as matters that relate to LGBTIQ inclusion or identity or affirmation. That was what my story was doing. It was stepping on the toes of my family, who don't agree that even though I am whatever I am, why should I be talking in the media? That's not an African perspective or a Nigerian perspective. It was trembling in the toes of my religious or faith institution. It was trembling in the toes of my friends who are happy to be in the closet. So once visibility is encouraged, we have to have strategies to protect people, because when my story came out and I was getting all this attack from everywhere, there was nothing to keep me safe. There was no community to keep me safe. There was no one to hold my hands, and I have to run and look for support elsewhere. Today things have changed. Today we have, even though we don't have everything that we talk about in 100%, we have a community where we can feel safe, where we can go to a safe space, where we can share our story. Now, after that, organize ourselves and to come together as a community. I have begun to organize a community, and so have in 2005 formed the first LGBT faith inclusive and affirming organization called Changing Attitude Nigeria. That was formed in 2005, and we brought LGBTIQ people from all backgrounds together in Abuja to begin to organize. The media was there, the local media was there, the international media was there, and so they couldn't deny that we do exist and that we are gathering. The reporting, when that was reported, the danger was that, the conservative medias were so angry at that reporting, and they labeled the LGBTIQ people are trying to form a community. It was very negative. But however, the good thing is that community have started, and that we are beginning to engage both at the grassroots and at the international level. And no matter the negativity that we face, that didn't stop us from being able to find a way to connect to ourselves. So locally we are connecting, internationally we are connecting. And even though at some point in 2008 Nigeria became unsafe for me, I had to flee Nigeria to go to the UK to be safe for a while, because if you want to be successful in your battle in this space that we are operating in, you have to take your security strategy very, very seriously. Sometimes it is not bad for you to just step out and go away and be safe and come back and equip yourself and come back and continue from where you have stopped. And so even though I stepped away for a while, it didn't stop me from continuing to use the diaspora space to organize ourselves in what we are doing. And when it is safe to come back, I have come back to Nigeria, to West Africa, and I have continued to begin to in the grassroots engage. And many of the people that use their influence, some have retired and some are no longer there. So there are fresh voices, fresh ideas, and that I can now connect with. And in Nigeria, even though there is a law that prohibits the act of same-sex marriage, which nobody even care to ask for, there is a great breakthrough in Nigeria, because we are in contact with senior religious leaders and politicians and other people, and we are also now beginning to develop relationship with the media. A lot of young journalists or writers are beginning to come from the background of professionalism and trying to have an open mind and listening to understand, not to misinterpret anyone. So we feel that there is a great success in the way that we have conducted ourselves, but there is still a lot of work. A lot of journalists who write about LGBTIQ people still write from a faith perspective, still put their theological and religious understanding before the issue they are writing about, and that is creating problems. Politicians are still behaving like they are pastors and putting their own personal faith belief into the issue, and rather than making a policy that is for all citizens and that protects the benefit of all citizens. So we have a problem there. Some health practitioners, doctors and nurses still put their faith belief system while providing services. So service providers are still using their faith and in navigating services. That's not what they are employed for. So there is a problem. And we as advocates, as media people, as bloggers, as community organizers and community leaders have to find a way to have the right strategy to engage with all of these sectors in passing the message, so that even if you disagree with the topic, we can disagree respectfully, and that if our religion is talking about love and care for one another, why do we then turn violence whenever the situation of LGBTIQ people come about? One of the things that I always tell religious people is that the invitation to God's kingdom wasn't saying that, but then we exclude this community or we exclude this certain people. All are invited, all are welcome. And so that is the model that I have used, and we have advocated, and we are still here. I want to pause a little bit to see how people in the house are feeling, and if there are questions that are popping up, so that we can a little bit take that and then continue the conversations a bit more depending on the time that we have. Thank you for listening to me, and I want to give you the chance to be in the space, because I want my speech to be engaging with you. So if there is a question or a comment that you want to put through to me, now is the time before I come back to continue. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I see we have so many questions. Davis, it looks like your presentation is...
Good morning, Mr. Ayala. Can you hear me? Okay. I want to say well done on the work you've been doing, but I have a few questions for you. So your presentation, I want to be clear about what you're saying. Are you talking about the relationship of the media to LGBT or the relationship of the church? Which one is it clear? Was it clear? What exactly was the talk about? Because I'm a bit confused.
Yes, so if I hear you, you are asking me if I am talking about the relationship of the media, and then it didn't continue again from there. So just the last part.
Okay, is it the relationship of the media with LGBT or relationship of the church to LGBT? Which one?
Thank you. I am saying three, four things in one go as I have got the opportunity. There is a relationship with the media and the church. There is a relationship with the media and LGBT. And there is a relationship with the church and LGBT. So my comment link on all of them.
Okay,
and
so it's a connection. It's an interplay. You are talking about.
Yes.
Okay, then my next question is this. I want you to flip the coin because I'm a Christian, and if you are LGBT, as far as I'm concerned, it's your business. It's your own orientation. You can do what you like. I'm not disturbed, but don't try and force your own orientation on me. That is when I would push back. Do what you like. Do anything you like. That's your business. Now, what I see the community doing is that they're trying to enforce their own orientation on other people. These people say that we don't want this. And I'd like to clarify something about the Anglican Church. I'm not an Anglican. What the Anglican Church said is this. You can be LGBT, but if you are gay, you cannot be a priest. That is what they said. Not that, oh, they are pure, they are this. It's okay, do what you like, but you cannot be ordained. And they are following their own book. Their book says, for a bishop, he must be a husband to one wife. So that is their own playbook. So the LGBT feel that, okay, we want to enforce our own orientation. As far as I'm concerned, they are violating their own rights. They are violating the churches, Anglican churches' rights. So that's the way I look at it. You know, the movement, do what you want to do, but don't force yourself on me, because I won't force myself on you. That's how I see it. Then about culture, this is a cultural thing. You know, most of, especially the Asian tigers, most of the development they've had is through cultural innovation. Their culture plays a lot of, in a lot of ways in how they've grown their economy, grown themselves and everything. So you cannot come and tell me, excuse me, an American will come and tell me that this is how I want you to behave in this country. You can't do that. And it's okay for you to talk about this thing and most of the time to be playing, sir. Take grants that have this kind of things entwined in it. It's okay. But do not force your own orientation on me. It's okay, you are gay, you're a human being. I'll deal with you. I will love you, but don't force me to be like you.
Thank you. Can I respond?
Yes.
Yes, so so much for taking the time to speak. I didn't get your name, but that's what we are saying. The fact that you might have a different opinion about me or what I believe in or what I do doesn't mean that you cannot speak your mind. And so what I see here is dialogue going on. I think you, my sister, you are mistaken when you use the word forcing their views or their opinion on anyone. No, the LGBT people are not asking for any special right. And I don't know where you have the evidence. You see, you said you are a Christian. We need to be speaking with evidence. I don't see where. Now let me go by myself. I am a cradle Anglican. I was born in the church, baptized and confirmed. I'm part of the church. So I'm not a stranger coming to ask the church for any special privilege. This is why I think that, your understanding of the topic is wrong. And also that there are no one Anglican LGBT person in Nigeria that have been asked to become a bishop. The church have doctrines and rules. And so if you want to be a bishop, then if you can't abide by their rules, if you're an LGBT person, then what do? You advocate for change. Even in the Western world, it took many years for those laws to change, for attitudes to change. What I am saying here is that the Nigerian Anglican Church, and I told you that this go way back beyond even 2003, have taken a position. Now there is a document called the Lambert Resolution 110 of the Anglican Communion, which I believe you may not be aware of that document. That document says that they would not punish LGBT people. They will listen to the story of LGBT people and allow them to exist. In Nigeria, that document is not being implied. If you are in the media, my sister, have you read and seen the comment that Nigerian bishops, Anglican bishops or Catholic bishops are actually doing and talking about LGBTIQ people? So please change that mindset that LGBTIQ people are forcing their opinion on anybody. No, you rather is forcing your conservative theological understanding opinion on a minority or vulnerable community. When you, from a privileged position, because you probably be an heterosexual person and that is the norm, have the boldness to say that a minority is forcing, then you are actually putting them at risk in the language that you use. So language is very important in this conversation, that we use and pick our language very carefully. The fact that they are different doesn't mean that they are a taboo, doesn't mean that they are abomination. I am a Christian and I do not believe that homosexuality is wrong. You are a Christian, you believe that homosexuality is wrong. So we have different theological understanding. That doesn't mean that you who have a conservative understanding of scripture means that your own is the authentic one. Now, that is the conversation we are saying, and that is why we need to be learning and talking and allowing God to enable us to find the right path. This is a journey. But if you are a journalist or you are a media and you want to write or talk about LGBT people, please understand the topic and the content, the people properly. Don't write about them from your biblical understanding or your Quranic understanding. Write to them about their own explanation of themselves. In that way, we can begin to form a clear, open-minded opinion. My sister, that is how I will respond to your comment. This conversation will be ongoing, and we will need to continue to learn. But please don't say that they are forcing. People asking to be saved. People telling their story that I am a Christian from that. What is bad about it? Who owns Christianity? Who owns the right to be who is a Christian? If you go to an institution that you want to be part of that institution, be ready to go by their laws. But then there is also the opportunity for reform, calling that we should reform certain things, because Nigeria has reformed a lot of this, its constitution and all of that. So why can't the religious spaces have reform? What is bad in calling for reform? And so, my sister, I think we shouldn't close the door. We should continue to have this conversation. And one last point to you. Please stop saying it is Americans that are coming to do this. I am a Nigerian born from River State, from Calabari, Port Harcourt, now talking to you. That if you see Americans in that perspective, now look into your own native person and address me like a fellow Nigerian. I am not foreign, and so therefore, and nobody is using any space or funding me to do what I do. What I do is my real belief and identity, and you need to respect me from that perspective, and we should be having this conversation from that perspective. Thank you so much. I really like your voice. I really like that you engage with me.
Thank you so much, Mr. David. That was quite
comprehensive. Yeah.
I'm sure you cleared that very. Okay, we have another question for you now.
I think that will be one final question in the interest of time. We are supposed to end by 9:30 for this session. So.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mine is more of an observation. You seem to blame the media, or let me say the journalists, for not reporting um, objectively LGBTQ. Now the question is, in Nigerian media space where we have people who actually don't believe, in fact even the media leaders who don't subscribe to this belief, how do you as a journalist, how can you write objective reporting in this situation? So don't you think that the problem, or let me say the challenge, is even bigger than the media space? In a situation where the government itself is trying to reject this kind of belief, how easy is it for the media to report it objectively? That is my question.
Thank you so much. So there is an individuality before there is a corporation. So you'll be working for a different corporation or organization that is different. So sorry, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm checking out. Yes, because calls keep coming through. So what I'm saying is that you as a person, first of all, would have to have that conscience of professionalism. As a journalist, what type of journalist do you want to become? Is something you will first ask yourself. Do I want to become a collaborative journalist that my survival, my employability is the most important thing? Or do I go into this journalism profession? Like these days, people go into nursing because of the money and not because of the real passion for care for people. So it's the same thing. I would speak to any journalist to ask yourself, why are you in journalism? Why are you reporting what you are reporting? Are you reporting it because it's an important issue that needs to be discussed and needs to be addressed? Or are you reporting it because you are asked to report it, and that's the way that you will survive? So there are many media houses that says that they are liberal, they report facts. If you label yourself as a high standard media or journalist that report only on the facts, then my friend, what you described, you will now find a way to rise above it, because once your fact is compromised, then all of the things you do has been compromised. Now the fact that the government don't agree on it, is it not journalists and media to call government to question? That is why we have all this high corruption and issues in the country, and the medias can't talk about it, based on what you are trying to say. LGBT, because nobody wants it, then it is easy for them to toe the line of the general public and the government. But when it comes to real other moral issues affecting our society and community, then everybody keep a blind eye. Most people, at least, not everybody, keep a blind eye. So it has to start with you as a journalist. What type of journalist do you want to become, and who do you want to work for? Do you want to work for a corrupt media house that doesn't tell the facts and give a clear representation of the story? Yes, the challenges are there, but only you can make that answer, because I think that a good journalism is the one that tells the story, how the story is, irrespective of how it is being received. So that's a question, my friend, that I think, and I thank you for raising this question and this comment, because it is challenging. But we need to, as a person, first of all, decide for ourselves what type of journalism or a journalist that we want to be. And of course, the challenges are there. Even if you write a very fantastic story, your editor might wash it down or trim it down, or even ask you to twist it a little bit. Those things are there. But the headlines that goes on mostly, once they say gay people try to get married, even if people are having a birthday and the police and they are blackmailed and the police raid the place, the headlines that the media give on those stories, when you get to investigate it, you find out that it's really not true. That's part of the problem, that you can actually describe the situation the way it is and let the law follow course. That's what I will respond to your comment or question.
Thank you so much. You can hear us, right? Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Davis, for that engaging discussion. I know you had mentioned that you would probably continue. However, I think with the interest of time, I don't know if we have any additional, just one final burning question, if there is any one final burning question. But yeah, that should be it. All right, looks like there is none. Thank you so much. I think you can, yeah, you can.